Today we're talking about building a custom training library for agents. And basically, this can be for your initial training when you're rolling out a pipeline, or for ongoing training as new agents come on board. So helpful for both of those. So to give you just kind of an overview or background, we train you so that you can train the agents. But we have resources to help you do that, namely a ton of articles and videos on our help site. Let me go ahead and hop over there. So from our help site here, tons of articles and videos. We also have many offices that create their own documentation or videos, and those because they need to outline their office's custom or specific workflow. But today I'm going to go over how you can use the resources on our help site to build a custom training center for your agents. This is also applicable to admins, meaning if you wanted to create a library for admin training, but just know that we have other resources for them, including live training. But again, you can easily build a similar library for training resources for your admins to supplement their training, because there are a ton of admin articles and videos on the help site as well. Okay, so that said, let's hop over to Pipeline. So like I mentioned, we train you so that you can train agents. And the reason we do that is because each office has its own workflow, like I mentioned. Different processes, different sets of permissions that they give agents, what the agents are allowed to do, etc. Pipeline supports multiple business types, including brokerages, TC offices, teams, individual agents, etc. So you can imagine that there are many, many different types of workflows. And even within each of those business types, we see vastly different processes or permissions or workflows, etc. Some offices will have agents doing nearly as much as admins, while some don't even give admins or agents access to the system. So tailoring your training is pretty important. And again, you can use our tools, you can use your own tools, live training, remote training, customized training for certain groups or individuals, depending on their roles or even their skill sets. Don't feel required to train your agents any particular way. Take advantage of the flexibility and build whatever training method works best for your office or offices and agents. You can use these libraries to either fully drive your training or just to support your training. So let's create a basic library here. So on the reference page here, and this is where your library would live. You can put it elsewhere if you like, but super convenient to have it here within Pipeline and direct people there to actually utilize it. So I created a category here, which you create by adding a link. And if the category doesn't exist yet, for example, if I were to add a link and we're creating the library from scratch and we're to select a category, if it doesn't exist yet, I can just type a new one, right? Right? So you can create new categories that way. I've already created this category here. I called it Paperless Pipeline Agent Training. You can call it whatever you like that will group your articles and videos together. Again, I called it that. You do, so that it appears at the top, you want to name it something that starts with 0. You might be inclined to start it with a special character that's not quite as obvious as 0, but the system's extra smart and will ignore those and put it in alphabetical order based on the first actual letter character. So start it with 0 to get it to appear on the top if that's important to you, which we recommend, and then list your articles there. So before we go ahead and dive into what I put here, let's hop over to the help site and go to the agent and general help, which is where all of your agent articles live. And notice the articles that exist here, right? We've got the agent quick start video, which gives a summary of the basic things that agents do in the system. Take a look at the video to see whether it has all the components that you want in there, whether it has any that you don't want in there. And really, you're just trying to go through these and see which information you want your agents to know. Like I mentioned, the agent quick start video is pretty basic. It shows them how to add a transaction, upload docs, assign docs to transactions, if you do indeed give them that assigned permission, and work with existing transactions. So pretty basic there. And then you can supplement that with other types of articles that are relevant for what you want your agents to do or to know. So hopping back over here to Pipeline, I've just created a little sample one here that's got the quick start video, that basic information, connecting to DocuSign. Let's say our office has DocuSign and I want to make sure they know how to connect. Emailing docs from Pipeline, pretty basic things that agents will often do, so I put that in there. dragging contacts into messages just to help them be more efficient and realize that they can do that, to easily mail docs or messages to outside contacts, and then using message templates because those are a huge time saver, and just everyone should know how to use those. So I've got those there. So I'm going to add one more. I've got new offer here open. Our office uses that pretty frequently. So I want that to be in the list here. Notice, by the way, that I've numbered them so that they come in this order, but I'm going to mention a caveat about that in a moment. But let's go ahead and add one more article here. I want to add this creating new offer article to the list. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this URL, right? I'm going to call it creating new offer, although I could rename it to whatever I want that is most appropriate for who my audience is, if I want it to be slightly different. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to call this again, creating new offer. I'm going to paste in that link that I just copied, and I'm going to put it in the Paperless Pipeline Agent category. And then I forgot to name it number 6. This is a good example, actually, right? So I forgot to name it 6. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to edit the link, change that to 6, right? And then save that. I can change other things there at that point if I wanted to as well. So, right, so that's how I build my library. I can just basically add them and name them as I need to. Like I mentioned, it's nice and clean to have them automatically ordered this way. So I numbered them accordingly so they'd be in that order. But, and also I just like visually, this kind of steps them through it. First you do this, second they do that, etc. But technically, just a little tip here, you can rearrange these by dragging them, right? So if I weren't numbering them and I wanted to manually rearrange them, I could do that. Now keep in mind that whenever you manually rearrange docs on the reference page, for that category that you've rearranged, the system now says, okay, they want these in a particular dragged order, so I'm no longer going to honor the alphabetical ordering of that section, right? So if I wanted to go back to ordering them by alphabetically, it wouldn't do that automatically. Now, if you have dragged and rearranged them and sort of removed that automatic alphabetizing, just let us know. We can actually turn it back on from our end. Okay, so just a little tip there. But again, that's how I'm going to put these back in order because it's really bothering me. Move that down and move that up. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, so that's my nice little library here. If you guys encounter, let's say you're over here on the help site, and you know what, I really want to be able to train agents how to do this particular function in Pipeline or know about this particular function, and it doesn't exist yet, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to entertain creating an article so that you can keep that in your library. So that's basically it. That's how you build it. Keep in mind that now you have your custom library and you can do anything with it, really, several things, including linking to it in the welcome message that new users get when you add new users to the system, or you can push it to agents. There's a way from the manage users area where you can send a message to any users who have not logged in, right? If you do send welcomes, we'll send the welcome message to anyone who has not yet logged in, right? So it would go out in that. Basically, it's sending your welcome message, whether you do it here, whether you do it when you add new users, or whether you do it when you reset password. It will be included in that. You can do it that way. You can include it in your online training, right? Or in any documentation or communication that you have, right? Just reference the link to the reference page so they can get to there. You can link to it from your intranet or your portal. You can reference or use it during your interactive training, right? You're giving live training or online training, and you can go ahead and go through those steps so that they can see it live, exactly how they use it. Basically, from anywhere that you can put a link, right? You can reference that so they can get to it. And again, let us know if there are any components from the help site or that are not on the help site that you would like to see to include in your library. You can also, if there are any functions that your agents do that is under the admin section, right? Given that they've got that permission, you can include those as well. And again, you can create some admin specific training also. And since this is a custom library here, if you do decide to create your own articles or videos, you can obviously link them from here as well. All right. And that's all I've got for today for creating your own custom library.